last answers from me if I'm ever gonna fix what I've done. Again, and you're the only one that can give it to me.
There is no right. You can't change who people are without destroying who they were. You can't play God, son.
Hey, it's Dr. Dead here, and I did a... It's Dr. Dead, and I basically did a Berserk review analysis. Not really. Just random thoughts on the new chapters, right? I have what we call a new theory. I just basically sat and went through triumph and tragedy through tragedy and tragedy. At some point, he had to do something pertaining to his family, Casca, and his friends. Now, I've seen 1,000 different behelit sacrifices Casca, the entire group. I've seen, Guts sacrificing himself, him sacrificing Griffith somehow, every single person. If you've been watching Berserk, you already know Guts doesn't sacrifice anyone but himself. Duh. Of course, if you haven't seen it, check out the any other channel above here, above the head. And this episode, or short-term theory, is brought to you by... My theory here really is that Guts is going to either use the armor as some form of sacrifice, or use it to heal it in some manipulative way to sacrifice himself. And this theory is not founded by any type of evidence. I would use the idea of evil as evidence, because Miura's already hinted at the idea of evil once it's removes the concept of the god hand, the gods, and all that other shit. So it's highly possible that in the future, well, that's what he'll sacrifice, but not to kill Guts, the idea of creating all these god hands. I know Miura said that in interviews this will end up, I don't remember, he said either it's going to be a tragedy or a non-tragedy. I don't see this ending positively. The recent chapters, and again, recipes of Miura and his staff doing a very good job emulating and creating a evolved version of Berserk. It just won't ever actually be the same as far as a show and a concept, because the author's been dead for some time. They can only emulate what he wanted so often without it looking like a mess. And also, I think it gets worse. My theory at the end of the series, Guts removes every single being from being demonic. The magical realms that are intertwined with their reality, that is Earth, removes all that by killing himself, the idea of evil. And ironically, with Guts dead, the entire world lives happily. And where did I get this idea? I was watching this last night. I was watching The Butterfly Effect, and it reminded me a little bit of what Guts does in the story, but a little differently. Time he tries to, like a fish, affect the laws of casualty. There's only small things that he affects. Everything surrounding him basically changes. We get to a point where Ashton Kutcher in Butterfly Effect, every time he tries to change something, he makes it worse.
You can't play God, son.
And it reminded me a little bit of what Guts does in the story, but a little differently. Every little redo. Time he tries to, like a fish, affect the laws of casualty. There's only small things that he affects. Everything surrounding him basically changes. We get to a point where Ashton Kutcher in Butterfly Effect, every time he tries to change something, he makes it worse. In Guts' case, he hasn't really made any big changes. All he's done is affect, and all he's done is suffer. At the end of Butterfly Effect, if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you haven't seen the movie, it's been out for 20 years. At the end of the movie, Ashton Kutcher realizes that the only way he's gonna solve his problems either by dying or removing himself from the picture, from his loved ones, family and friends, the love of his life. What it seemed to me, basically, my theory that I'm scrambling on, is I believe that Guts is going to end up leaving Casca outright, because nothing since he's met her or Griffith has been good. I see him being very self-loathing and deprivating. If he doesn't end up hurting himself or sacrificing himself, he removes himself from the memories of Casca and Griffith somehow. Maybe you don't have to sacrifice yourself. It may be some loophole. Maybe you could sacrifice memories.
Sweet dreams, my beautiful boy.
Who goes? Who's Barry?
Anyways, what do you think? I think that it's possible. There's so many different theories that I've seen. I was like, yeah, let's try something different. Anyway, you already know the usual: like, subscribe, comment, all that fun shit.